We lit, we live. Let's see who pull up, man. I was about to go live on the wrong page. Hold on. Prayers up, blessings up. We lit, we live. Let's see who pull up. See who pull up in here, man. And put it in part. Prayers up, blessings up. Let's see who up. Switch accounts. See who pull up in here, man. We lit, we live. It's about to be a Naturalite weight loss live. You feel me? We waiting for people to pull up in here. And we're going to crank this thing up. I went live on the wrong TikTok page. I had to double back. And so now I'm on the right page, and I'm about to go ahead and set this thing off. Prayers up, blessings up. Okay, I see we pulling up. Prayers up, blessings up. We lit, we live. So this live is going to be a Naturalite live, man. You know, it's a live about the Naturalite lifestyle and how it helped me to lose 100 pounds. You know what I mean? I'm coming right back. Hold up. Prayers up, blessings up. We lit, we live. I'm coming right back. Coming right back. We lit, we live. Let's see who pull up in here. Put it in mark. Let's see who pulls up. Prayers up, blessings up. We lit, we live. We lit, we live. This is going to be, like I say, this is going to be a weight loss live. This is me in 2014. I actually lost 100 pounds. And I'm actually about to go live. I'm going live on 5 different phones right now. I'm about to go live on this one. Now this is Instagram. We live. This is Facebook over here. We live. Let's see who pull up in this live and let's make this thing happen. I feel good. I feel blessed. I feel grateful. And I'm just going to be giving out the game on this live. If you got to go to lose weight, this is especially a good live to lock in on if you got the time. If not, it's all good. I give the game out on my page. I also got books that I wrote. The topic of weight loss, Life Matters, so Let's Eat Like It was the first book that I became a best-selling author with. And I broke down how I lost 100 pounds. Still eating the foods that I like to eat. Just like I said, it's me in 2014. I was eating rice, cookies, bread, cake, pasta. You know, I was eating meat. A lot of things that, you know, I've heard that you're not to eat. I was eating, and I lost the weight. So we've helped thousands of people lose. I got a goal to help over 1 million people get down to their natural body size and stay there for life. I'm coming right back. Hold on, I cranked this live up a little bit prematurely, but it's all good. We about to turn this thing up. Prayers up, blessings up. Let's see who pull up in here. Let's see who pull up in here and put it in bar. I got a good feeling about this live. I'm about to crank this thing up, man. L-Dog, what's good? CC, I see you, man. It's all love. Eric, what they do? Shalom, what they do, Dre? Deuce, blessings up. I see you, man. Prayers up. Sonia, Kirkland, I see you. What's up, Sonia? Prayers up, blessings up. So look, first thing I want to do is talk about this. I just recorded this video. I'm gonna post the video when I this live. I recorded it, it's edited, it's in the chamber, it's ready to go. I'm excited about this next video I'm finna post about this cabbage plant. You know, when you cut a cabbage plant, first of all, I never really liked cabbage when I was young. But I'm starting to like cabbage, and I'm starting to see that there's a lot of different ways I could cook it. And I'm starting to get into cabbage. Matter of fact, if you like cabbage, drop a yes in the chat. If you don't like cabbage, drop a no in the chat. Let me see who like cabbage and who don't like cabbage, because I know both ways. I got my 3 books today. Oh, man, White, that's love. Keep us in the loop, man. Email is right there on our website, jabez@gonaturalite.com, man. Keep me in the loop. I love to hear about what's going on with people, man. We like to stay locked in. Okay, a lot of people like cabbage. I'm surprised. Charlotte, what they do? Cabbage is Bob T. What's good? I see you, Eddie. Hey, man, because I used to really not like cabbage. A lot of people like, everybody's saying yes. More people was going to say no, to be real. So then check this out. If you like cabbage, check this, because this blew my mind. With the cabbage, you know, when you cut this cabbage, right? You cut this part off because it's like this part too hard. So I cut this off, and my whole life, whenever I cut it, I just throw this part. I would cut all this part off, but this part right here, this little circle part, I would throw that away. Come to find out, if you put it in water, I did right here, it started to grow roots out of it. And it'll grow, look, with these roots, right? To put this in some soil, and it'll grow another cabbage plant up out of there. Did you know that? Drop a yes in the chat if you knew that. Drop a no if you didn't know that, because I found out like 2 years ago you could do it with romaine lettuce. You could put the romaine lettuce in the soil and it'll grow another piece of romaine lettuce. So I did that like 2 years ago, and I was like, dang, never knew you could do it with cabbage too, man. Okay, Alicia did know. I see some people I did that. Jalen didn't know. I see some August already knew what time it was. A lot of no's. It tripped me out when I learned that. I'm like, Doc, because really this is proper. That's what this is. I actually talk about this in my book. The more we grow, the more we'll see everything we need is free. This is an example of another way plants reproduce plants, by cutting a piece of the plant off and then putting it in the soil. It grow more roots and grow again. It's called propagation. Because growing up, I always thought you needed seeds. I thought to grow plants, you needed the seeds. I didn't even know that you could just cut a piece of the plant off and put it in the ground and it'll grow. When I learned that, man, it's up. So yeah, so I did that or whatever. I did the video on that. I'm gassed up about it. Man, I'm about to turn this live up, man. Let me move this out the way because I got y'all do me a favor, tap the screen. Y'all do me a favor, tap the screen. Show me some love. If you ever got any value from anything that I tap the screen, I see we got 88 people on the live on YouTube, 20 likes. If y'all could smash that like button, I would appreciate that. And if you know anybody that want to lose weight, I see y'all's love. If you know anybody that want to lose weight, feel free to send this live to them, because I'm about to be giving out game on this live. I help people lose weight, especially on this live. I decided to go live kind of on a random, because we actually keeping Passover starting tonight sundown through tomorrow night sundown, which is actually when we keep the Shabbat this year in accordance with the Aryan calendar. That's a whole nother topic, but the point is, for Passover, after Passover, we keep the Feast of Unleavened Bread. And so for a whole week, we don't eat no leaven, like leavening agents, like yeast and stuff like that, for a whole week. You feel me? So it's a holy day. It's a holy day. It's a week long. And so we're keeping it. I've been keeping it since 2020. And so all the food that got leaven in it, we throw it out. And then we just re-up after the Feast of Unleavened Bread. So the point why I said that is because it's a lot of food that we actually like. Look, you can see examples that I got in food that we're going to be throwing away. So I was like, you know what? Before I throw all this away, I'm going to go down tonight. Let me just run a live, because I got a lot of examples of switches that I made where I was able to lose the weight that I wanted to lose while I was still eating the food to eat. Because me, like personally, I like rice, I like bread, I like pasta, I like cookies, I like cakes, I like meat, I like, sweets. And I lost 100 pounds eating all those things. I had to learn how to choose the right versions of all those things. And that pretty much sums it up. And so that's what we're going to be going over on this live. So I need to lose 100 pounds. Well, you're in the right spot. Good news. What I'll do is, too, if you got things going on, what I'll do is on my YouTube channel, it's the same thing, Jabez Invest. I'll leave this live up for a while on the channel for at least a week. I'll leave it up for you if you want to double back and watch it, because I'm going to be giving out the game. So check this out, right? So I've thrown all my enriched products. Okay, shalom. So check this out, right? All right. Let me get focused. First of all, let me find out who's on. First of all, I'd like to know what cities are in the building, what states. Who's in the represent your city in the comments? Represent where you're from. Represent your country, your city. Where you from, man? I'm trying to see who in here, man. David say you love cabbage. I used to not like it, but I do now, and I'm starting to learn more. I just barbecued cabbage, a steak of it, like a slab, and that thing came out busting. North Carolina, Bobby, out of Texas. I see you, Bobby. California in the building, man. What's good? Tampa and Christina. England, Daisy out of England. What's up, Daisy? Detroit in the building. Shout out Detroit. Ireland in the building. Alan, what's up, man? Puerto Rico in the building. That's live. LA in the building. Tampa. Bulk, what they do out of LA. I see you, man. I used to live out there. My sister live out there, man. Man, Chicago in the building. What they do, Angela? Norway. Wow. Sonia, what's up? Out of Norway. That's live. Dayton, Ohio. Shout out Ohio, man. Louisiana in the building. Oh, man. Raleigh, North Carolina, and Virginia. I see what they do. New York in the building. That's live. Oh, man, we got from the Grand Cayman. What's good? Florida in the building. That's where we at. So check this, right? What I want to do on this live, I want to help people lose weight. So what I like to get intentional. I plan on getting intentional on this live. So if you lose weight, I'd like to know who I can help, basically. If you go to lose weight, drop a 4 in the chat. Let me see who's on this live that got to go to lose weight. I don't know what's going on with my TikTok numbers over here. I got 16 people on the live. But what's weird is I see people coming in constantly. But it's showing 19, but I have people coming in down here. So I don't understand what's going on with this number. But let me know in the chat. Is y'all seeing 18 on this TikTok over here on the chat? Let me know, man. Drop a 4 in the chat, though, if you got to go to lose weight. Treasure, what's going on, man? Okay, Val, what's good? Ryan, what's good? I see 85. Not on this TikTok page. My bad, y'all. Because on this one, see, I'm on 2 TikTok. This is my backup TikTok. Notice right here how now it say 20. Now it say 21. But like people steady coming in. And usually it'd be at least 100 people live. So I don't know what's been going, but I've been noticing this for like the last month on my backup TikTok page. Like I'm steadily seeing people coming in the live, but it's a small number. It stays a small number on the top. So I'm like, what the heck is going on? But anyways, whatever. So for everybody that dropped the 4, right? You share great information. I appreciate it. I love your name. Believe in yourself. That's real. That's real. Everybody that dropped the 4, I need to get that book. That's love. Love. We're actually doing a sale right now. So I launched my newest book, The More We Grow, The More We'll See Everything We Need Is Free, which is about agriculture. I'll get into that in a little bit. But because we sold out of this book, we put our first bulk order in because we was taking pre-orders for this. And we put a bulk order in for all the books to get from our manufacturer sent over here. And we sold out. Like it's like the whole bulk order that came, we sold out. And so we got to put another, and then because it was our first order from the manufacturer, it's like a window where you can't order back to back. And so we had to wait for that window to pass before we could order again. So there's a gap in, like, we're out of books. You feel me? So since we're out of books, I'm just this one though. We got all the other books on deck, but since we're out of books and it's going to be like a 10-day window, we're taking pre-orders again. So since it's that delay, we're doing another sale for the pre-orders, but on this live, we're actually doing a flash sale across the board, 25% off. If anybody want to grab a copy of any of the books, you can. We got they hit me with a restriction. They stay hitting me with a restriction on TikTok, man. They say your live contains things some may find uncomfortable and has been restricted. That's crazy. Hold on. My live. So anyways, I just submitted feedback saying my live, who knows why that happened. But so if anybody want to grab it, I actually got the link for our new website, Go Naturalite. I'm gassed up. We got a new site. We partnered up with shout out Medicate with Ken and Bob and George and the whole Medicate team. We partnered up with them. We launched Go Naturalite, and I'm super excited about it. So our new website, gonaturalite.com. The link is underneath on the top of all my homepages, underneath the profile picture. If anybody want to grab a copy of the books, feel free. We're running a sale again because of the pre-situation. So for everybody that want to lose weight, here's the thing. Let me make this make sense. So this was me in 2014. I was 100 pounds overweight. I was 206 pounds, and so I believed that the reason why I was so overweight was because I was eating like way too much fast food. And so the first thing I want to talk about is that, because, and I actually talk about this in my book, Life Matters, So Let's Eat Like It. I talk about false beliefs. So it was true that fast food had weight on me. It wasn't the whole truth. But in my mind, I believed that was the whole reason I had got to the point where I was 100 pounds overweight. Because in 2014, I was, 31 years old. I had gained majority of them 100 pounds over a period of 3.5 years. And so I blew up around 28, 29, 30, 31 is when I started putting on weight. So around 28, 27, 28, I started noticing I was weight. And so I exercise to lose the weight, and I would lose some weight, then I would gain it back. I wasn't staying consistent enough. I tried counting calories. I tried, cutting back on carbs. I would lose some weight and gain it back, gain it back plus some. And I was kind of going like this for a couple of years. And let me know if you can relate. Drop a 4 in the comments if you can relate to that. Like I tried different diets. I carnivore diet where I only ate meat and I lost weight. But after about 6 weeks, my nerves started feeling funny. Like I didn't feel right. Like, I don't know. I just felt off. I went back to how I was eating before and I gained the weight back plus some. I see y'all. I don't know what I'm talking about, Mally. So it's like I was doing that up and down thing. I was doing that. And, I even tried the weight loss pills. It was, the name slipping my mind. It'll come back to me, but it was one. It was like what they call that Ozempic now with the shot. Back then, like in 2000, this was probably around 2012, 13. It was a big weight loss pill. It was like commercials all over the place, and I had tried that. I got 2 bottles of it, and I was taking them, and I lost weight. I lost like 7 pounds in probably a month, maybe 3 weeks. And I was eating how I was regularly eating, but I was losing the weight. And then the weight came back. Kimberly Drayton, I seen the order come through. Kimberly is love, because what happened was I started feeling off. It was when I was only eating meat, when I did the carnivore diet. It was like getting aggravated real easy. Like things was upsetting me easy. People was just seemed like everybody was bothering me. Like I didn't want to talk to nobody. And then I was working on commission. Like my whole life I've been in sales, so I was like, I got to talk to people. So my money, like, anyways, I ended up I stopped taking them, and I felt better, but came back. So, as I was going through that process of stopping things and starting and stopping and starting and doing it, in my mind, I really knew what I had to do, but I didn't really want to do it, which was I believed I needed to stop eating fast food. And so, because I was eating fast food minimum for a couple of years, I was eating fast food between 2013, 2014. I was eating fast food 5 to 7 days a week, just in my lifestyle. And I was outside hustling, and I was out like I'll wake up and I'll be out at night and I come back. You know what I mean? And so it was like it was the most convenient thing to do, and it was affordable and whatever. And I like the way fast food tastes. And so I seen a documentary called Supersize Me around in the early 2000s. Drop a 4 in the chat if you ever seen that that documentary called Supersize Me. It's old school at this point, but it was a documentary called Supersize. Came out in the early 2000s. I see y'all. Jazz, what's up, man? Jazz know what I'm talking about. Dad, what they do? Frank, what's popping? High Vibes, I like that name. Royal, what's good? I love that name. On Netflix, is it on Netflix? But I seen it. Back in the days, what caught my attention about the documentary was it made it to the movie theaters. And that was the first time I seen that. I was like, damn, documentary in the movies? And so I ended up watching it later on. But it's probably around 2003 or whatever, 2004, I feel like it was when I watched that movie or the documentary. And the dude went around eating McDonald's breakfast, lunch, and dinner for 30 days straight. But he supersized every meal. Back in the days, you could do that. You pay like an extra $1 and change, and they'll give you a bucket of French fries like this. McDonald's used to do that. Let me know in the comments you remember that. Drop a 4 in the chat if you remember when you could get this, because I'm 40. So if you're younger, you probably don't even know about it. Back in the days, you could supersize a meal, and they'll give you a bucket of French fries like this, and they'll give you like a big gulp soda like this. They'll give you a soda like this big. And Tina, what they do? Hi, okay, y'all remember. 8, what they do. So yeah. So we used to do that. We used to get a supersized meal, and we'll split one meal and make 2. Split the sandwich, and then we'll split the French fries and we'll share the soda. And so around for 30 days straight eating supersized meals, breakfast, lunch, and he gained 20 pounds in 1 month. I remember when I seen that documentary. I'm in the numbers. I did the math. I was like, so that means if he stay on that same pace, He gonna gain over 200 pounds in 1 year. That blew my mind. Like, because of that documentary, that's how in hindsight, when I look back on it, because later on I was wondering, why did I believe fast food was the whole reason why and when I really reflected, I was like, that's what it was. It was that documentary. Because before I seen Supersize Me, I didn't even think fast food was really bad. I'm just being honest. Now everybody knows, but back then in the 2000s, 90s, and the 80s, I didn't connect those. I was young. Like, I was just eating. I liked the way it tasted cheap. I was skinny. I was athletic. I didn't think there was nothing wrong with it. And so I seen that documentary because he was explaining like the process of making the buns, the chicken McNuggets and all that. And I was like, no, I didn't know that. I didn't know that it was like that. And so that documentary, it made it get in. And he was saying fast food is the reason why America is overweight. So bomb. That's how it got into my mind. But I didn't stop eating fast food. I didn't stop. And matter of fact, I ate more. But I felt like I needed to stop. And so fast forward through time, I tried all them different things to lose weight. None of them really worked for me. And then what happened was one night, it was at this period of my life, 2014. We was actually living in the Pine Island projects down here in the ranch. And I never forget the night me and my wife was sitting in the bed, talk about it in my book, and she was poking at my chest, giggling, laughing. She poking at my chest and giggling. And I'm like, what's so funny? And she said, dang, babe, you getting titties. My wife told me that. My wife told me I was getting tits as a man. And so I was like, I felt tried. I felt real tried. Like, I felt real disrespected. And then I got disrespectful with her in a retaliation. And next thing you know, it was a full-blown argument. And I felt like all the bad ways at once. Like, I felt insecure. I felt like jealous. I felt he was cheating on me. My mind took me to all the bad places. I felt like I should break up with her. I felt like she was probably plotting on breaking up with me. And so I felt like I need to break up with her first. My wife, I'm talking about, we got 5 kids. We're still together to this day. But what I'm saying is, when she told me that, I actually told her that was it. I was done. And I went to leave. Our kids was in there. We was living in the Pine Island. I'm telling you, this was me. All our kids in there. We yelling back and forth, cussing and I was a totally different person back then. And so I left. I went to my car and jumped in my car, and I had forgot the day before that my transmission blew. So I jumped in my car. As soon as I got in the car, I remember my I never forget, man. Like, I remember I hit the steering wheel so hard, and I was like, wow. Like, I was so mad, and like my emotions was all over the place. It was an all-time low that night. I don't know what it was about that moment and why it made me feel sad when she told me I was getting tits as a man. But that was the worst that I could remember feeling. Even after losing people to death that I love, I just was at an all-time low. And on top of that, financial, was a whole bunch of other things going on in life that I was unhappy about. And so I had to walk back in after I broke up with her. Because I had just moved too. I had just moved down south from up north. We live in Miami. I ain't know nobody down south, you feel me? And so I was like, what I'm gonna do? It was late. So I walked back in the house. And then she wanted to get slick because she knew my car wasn't working. She wanted to get slick. So whatever, I ended up going in the bathroom. I slammed the door. I went in the bathroom, right? And when I went in the bathroom, I was looking in the mirror. When I was looking in the mirror, I realized when I was looking in the mirror, I was holding my stomach in to make my stomach look to myself. And when I realized that, I was lying to myself because it wasn't nobody else in the bathroom. And then I realized I had been doing that. I looked at myself, my reflection of myself. I would hold my stomach, make myself look smaller. And I remember I looked in the mirror, I was like, dang, bro, you lying to yourself. And that was the moment when everything changed for me, because, and I talk about this in my book about mindset. I had a mindset, I had a realization in my mind that I wasn't letting myself see the truth about myself. And that was a key thing. And then my mind went to racing because I was lying to myself without even speaking. And I had got turned out when it comes to lies. Like, I was lying to other people way too much. And I had been lying my whole life. Oh shit, okay. Damn, I just got a text from my daughter. But I had been lying my whole life, pretty much. And so I was like, man, basically, like, my mind went to spinning, like, and I was like, man, I'm done with fast food. And the thought that I had that night was, and this the thing that helped me. This was the thought that helped me to actually do it. Because I was like, you know what? If I want a burger, I'll make it myself. I don't have to go to Wendy's. If I want some fried chicken, I'll make it myself. I don't gotta go to churches. I'm just gonna make it myself. If I gotta eat dinner later because I gotta work or whatever, then I'll make dinner when I get back I'll just eat later. I'm not going to fast food no more. I was like, I'll still be eating what I like though. So it's not like I'm not gonna be able to eat what I like. I'm just not going. I'll eat it from sit-down restaurants if I got the money, but I'm just not going to fast food no more. I'm not doing it. So from thinking like that, that was the thing that kind of like, I was like, okay, I could do that. And then I was like, I'm gonna start weighing myself every day. And then I got curious. I was like, I wonder how much weight I'm gonna lose. And I was like, I really think I'm gonna lose all the weight I wanted to, because I was 260 pounds. I wanted to get down to 190. All right. So that's what I did. I stopped eating fast food. I stopped. And so I thought that, and I started losing weight. And I thought that I figured it out. So, because I got my weight started coming down pretty quick. Like, within 3 months, I was down 15 to 20 pounds, 160 to 145, and I was floating between 140, from 260 to 245, and I was floating between 2 and 245. I kind of like plateaued out right there, and I stopped losing weight. And I wasn't eating fast food. And so, like, 6 months went by and I didn't lose no more weight. I just was kind of floating between 140 or 245 and 240. And so I was like, dang. So I thought it was the fast food, but it wasn't just the fast food. And I was like, dang, man, I thought it was the fast food. And so I started to believe that I needed to exercise. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I was like. I got to exercise, and I'm probably eating too much. I got to start doing portion controls. Probably should start eating once a day. But for them 6 months, I would do it for maybe like a few days, and then I was back to eating again. Like, I just wasn't staying consistent doing portion control, and I wasn't staying consistent exercising. And so my weight wasn't really. And so fast forward like 6 months, I'll never forget the day. I talk about it all the time. I mean, I was just looking at Sherry, look at how God worked. I was literally just about to talk about that. I'll never forget the day I came into the awareness of the enrichment process and how it leads to weight gain. How you can enrich grains. And I learned how to enrich grains and how to identify grains that wasn't put through the enrichment process. So I want to ask y'all, if you're unfamiliar with the relationship between grains and weight gain, drop a 4 in the chat. If everybody knows, I'll move on to the next thing, because I talk about it, on every live, really, because I feel like it's important. This is the information that changed my life, for real. Tab, what they do? I see you, Karen. Okay, Sherry, if you're unfamiliar with the relationship between enriched grain and weight gain, drop a 4 in the chat. Ted, what they do? Mo, I see you. Justin, what's good? Okay, Grace, Val, all right, good. Tony, good. Angela, what's up? All right, cool. Okay, cool. So the enrichment process is a ultra chemical process. Everybody's heard of processed foods and ultra processed foods. And when I heard of processed foods, I would think of like Twinkies. My mind always took Twinkies first, because like, it's like I heard along the way that like Twinkies like could last 100 years in the pack, and you could eat it like 100 years later, like it would go bad. So that's when I heard about processed foods, I thought about those type of things like Oreo cookies and stuff like that. And so, but the enrichment process is a process that you can put rice through, wheat through, and corn through. And they created it in the late 1940s because all of those grains have a life germ in the grain. And it's the soft part of the grain, and it got like natural B vitamins and nutrients in there. And that's the part of the grain that will spoil and go bad first. So the enrichment chemical process, you could bring those grains through, and that life germ will up and come out. And so they remove the life germ from the grain, and then what's left after that chemical wash is an empty grain and an empty calorie. So what they do is they add synthetic nutrients to replace the natural nutrients that was lost. This is the enrichment. This is a chemical enrichment process. And so it leads to weight gain. Our bodies, there's no life in it, and our bodies, it's hard for our bodies to break it down. And so when I learned that, I was like, what? And so as an example, like for example, this is an example of enriched wheat. This is flour, right? And so how you know if it's enriched, it'll say it right here on the pack. Right here you see bleached, enriched. But then some it don't show on the pack. What up? What up? All right, y'all. Sometimes it don't show that it was enriched. Ken, that's enough. Sometimes it won't show that it's enriched, right? So this is why I'm always saying read the ingredients, because they have to list synthetic nutrients that they added to the product. And so you'll see it right here. It says bleached wheat flour, and it says niacin, iron, thiamine mononitrate, riboflavin, folic acid, enzymes. Right? Those are the synthetic nutrients they added to replace the natural nutrients that was inside the life germ. So that's the bad news. This leads to weight gain. Good news is, just like they sell this in the store, they also sell the flour that wasn't put through this process. And so here go an example of that. Here go a flour in the ingredients. All I want to see in the ingredients is the type of wheat grain that's used. And you see right here, it show hard red wheat flour and soft wheat flour. That's all that's in this. As compared to bleached wheat flour, niacin, iron, thiamine mononitrate, riboflavin, folic acid. So when I learned that this lead to weight gain, all I did was I stopped eating this type of flour and products made with this type of flour, and I started eating wasn't put through that enrichment process and products that was made with flour that wasn't put through the enrichment process, and I started back losing weight. But when it comes to flour, right, you also got to think about all the things that flour make. Flour makes pasta, macaroni noodles, spaghetti, linguine, bread. You get what I'm saying? Flour makes donuts, pastries, cakes. Flour make a lot of different things. Flour's in a lot of different things. Noodles. So if that makes sense what I just said, drop a 4 in the chat. If it makes sense what I just said about the enriched grains, drop a 4 in the chat. Let me see who locked in right now. Brenda, what's up, man? Billions, what they good. I see the 4. Vex with that. Melly, what's good? Christina, what's Ted, what's good? I have a question. Is it true that O plus O my blood? I don't know. To be honest, when it comes to blood types and that type of information, that's not my specialty. My specialty is just helping people lose weight, still eating what they like to eat. So I like staying in my lane with that. I have no idea, to be real with you. That's a great question though, but I don't know. I don't know from experience. And so, y'all, so check it, right? So this is what I did when I learned that. I went into my pantry. I went to the kitchen. I went into my pantry and I looked to see what was I eating that had enriched grains in it. The rice that I was eating, all we had was long grain white enriched rice. And Uncle Ben's parboiled long grain enriched rice. I had Nature's Own honey wheat bread. That was made with enriched flour. I had our pasta. All the different type of pastas we had, all of them was made with enriched flour. The flour that we had in there was enriched. The pancakes, the just add water pancake mix, made with enriched flour. I was I used to stay eating noodles made with enriched flour. Pop-Tarts in there with enriched flour. The Oreo cookies, enriched flour. We had Chips Ahoy cookies made with enriched flour. We used to keep the little Debbie snacks on deck. All of them had enriched flour in it. Lord, I looked in the freezer. The pizza, the frozen pizza that we had was made with enriched Pop-Tarts. The Eggo waffles enriched. All of them was made with enriched flour. I was eating so much enriched products. I realized I was eating enriched products every day my whole life. When I really thought about it, I'm like, I don't know if it's a day that went by where I didn't eat an enriched grain. I was like, no wonder I ain't losing no more weight, man. Just got your books. That's love. That's love. Just feel free to keep a loop on your journey. You feel me? Our email address is on the website, jabez@gonat.com. I want to know how things are going. Let me know, man. Keep us up to date. You feel me? It's all love. So I thought enriched was more nutrients. Thanks for sharing. And see, Teddy, I used to think but this is what I actually talk about this in my book. These are the little tricks they use with the words. Enriched sound good. Right or wrong. The word, if someone come into your life and they enrich your life, that's a good thing. That's tricky. They're gonna call it the enrichment process. It's an ultra chemical process, public information. You could look up the process of making processed, enriched flour, store-bought. If you look on a YouTube video, they'll show you how it's made. There's videos where it's to take you through the process step by step, and you can see the chemicals that are used in the process of it. And it's an ultra-processed food. And so, that's crazy. So that's the day when I was like, okay, I wonder how many products I could find made with grains that wasn't enriched. This is when I started reading the ingredients. I started reading ingredients, it was about 2015. And reading the ingredients initially just because I wanted to stop eating enriched grains. So that same night I went to the grocery store. I found flour that wasn't enriched. I found bread that used flour that wasn't enriched. I found spaghetti noodles. I found macaroni noodles. I found cookies that wasn't made with enriched flour. I also started to think about it like if I couldn't, because sometimes I couldn't find cookies that, like the cookies that I found, I didn't know how they taste. But then as I started thinking, I was like, okay, well I could just make them from scratch myself with flour that wasn't enriched. So I started doing things like that. I found rice. That's when I stopped eating white, long grain enriched rice, and I started natural jasmine rice. So I started making these switches, and my weight started coming back down. And I was like, dang, that's crazy, because I was weighing myself every day. So I went from 260 to about 240, 245. I was stuck there for 6 months. I lost that weight because I stopped eating fast food. I was still eating whatever I wanted to eat. I was eating, pizza. I was eating cookies, cakes. I was eating burgers, just not from fast food restaurants. French fries, just not from fast food restaurants. I was eating fried chicken, just not from Popeyes. I was eating what I wanted, just not from fast food. I lost 15, 20 pounds. And then there for 6 months. And then I learned about the enriched grains. I stopped with the enriched grains and replaced them with grains that wasn't put through that ultra chemical process. I was still eating burgers, still eating French fries, sandwiches. I was still eating bread, pasta, cookies, cakes. I was eating everything I liked to eat. I just wasn't eating it made with the enriched grains. And my weight started coming back down. I wasn't exercising more. I wasn't doing portion control. I wasn't counting calories. I made the switch from the ultra processed grains to the grains that wasn't put through that ultra chemical process. And weight started coming off me. I know because I was weighing myself every day. I love his book, Brian. That's love. That's love. Talk about all this in my book, man. FDA, I shouldn't have said that word out loud. I'm just going to leave it like that. I'm going to move on from that one. Certain things I notice things go to bugging. Do you consume dairy? I don't. But good news, if you like dairy, dairy wasn't a big issue for me to weight loss. I lost 80 pounds. I was eating dairy pretty much every day. In my life, I loved dairy. I didn't stop eating. I lost 80 pounds. I went from 260 down to 180 eating dairy. But in 2020, I decided to cut back on dairy more so for health reasons because I always had mucus. I wake up with mucus in my throat, and a lot of times I would be my nose a lot. Like I always had a mucus issue, and I seen Dr. Sebi talking about the dairy, and how a lot of people are lactose intolerant, basically is what he was saying. Especially if you melanin. The more melanin you got in your skin, the more lactose intolerant is what he was saying. And he was saying we're not really supposed to be drinking cow milk like that. And like one of the symptoms you'll have is you'll wake up with that cold in your chest and you have to spit it up. And I was like, I've been that my whole life. And I was like, and I've been drinking milk and eating cheese like that my whole life. But I thought that I had that issue because I was putting it on the air conditioner. I thought it was the AC and I had the fan blowing, and I'm like, it's these chemicals in the air conditioner. I thought that was the issue. But, so that's when I decided to stop with the dairy. In 2020, I was like, let me stop for a few months, and if you'll have the mucus, then I know that it ain't the dairy, it's the AC. But if the mucus go away, then it was the dairy. So I stopped, and then about 6 weeks later, I remember it hit me. I was like, dang, I ain't wake up with mucus in my chest in about a week. It took about 6 weeks, and I ain't deal with issues since. So every once in a while, I have dairy. I like pizza, certain things. I keep it to a bare minimum. Yeah, the cheese is the one for me too. That was a very hard one. I'm gonna be honest, it was tough for me. But I was just weighing the pros and cons. I was tired of the mucus, spitting up mucus every day. I was like, man, I think I would just not have to deal with the mucus than to actually have the experience of eating the cheese. I was ready to just try and see what happens. That's why I did that. Let me see. So anyways, I'm getting sidetracked. So this is what happened though, right? And I talk about this in my book when it comes to mindset. I went from 240, 245 down to about 230. Not eating the enriched grains. I came down to I was probably floating between 230 and 225. Now, as I was going through that process of losing that weight again and the weight was coming down, I realized I was doing a science experiment on my body. Glory Events, I just didn't come through Glorious Love. If anybody want to grab a copy of any of our books, we're doing a sale right now. I got the link underneath my profile picture. Go for our new website. Go. If you want to grab a copy, feel free. I realized I was doing a science experiment on my body. So, and I'm saying this to say, if you got to go to lose weight, I highly encourage you to think about this, what I'm about to say. Why I know what certain things do for my weight is because I was gauging it. So I remember when I was in school, I learned, there was a science teacher that I had, and we did a lot of experiments in his class. That's why I liked his class, because I did not like school, but I liked his class. And he the one that got into my mind, a real science experiment, you got to have constant variables. And you add one variable to change to those constants, and you measure the result. When there's a change of results from this one constant added to the constant variables, you'll know that the change of results happened because it's one element of change. If you add 2 or 3 elements of change to the constant variable and you get a different result, you don't know what just changed it. So you got to add one element of change at a time, and you got to measure the result. And I thought that made a lot of sense when I was young, and it intrigued me. I was like, that makes a lot of sense. So then I didn't think about it much. But that thought came back into my mind that that's what I was doing. The first element of change that I added to my science experiment of my body, and my goal was losing weight, was eating fast food. I didn't stop eating burgers. I didn't stop eating French fries. I didn't stop eating chicken. I was still eating everything that I like to eat. I just didn't eat them from fast food. So that was the only thing that I changed. And then how I was measuring the results was I was getting on the scale every day. Right? And so I was seeing that my weight was coming down. I wasn't counting calories. I wasn't eating less. The only thing I was doing different was I stopped eating the food from fast food restaurants. And then I lost 15 pounds and some change, and I kind of started floating, and I stopped losing weight. And then I made another change. The only change that I made was I stopped eating enriched grains. I stopped eating enriched rice, enriched wheat flour, and enriched cornmeal and grits. That was the only, but I still was eating rice and wheat flour and all the things wheat flour makes, pasta, cookies, cakes, bread. I was still eating all of those things, just not made with the enriched wheat flour. I was still cornmeal and grits, just not enriched, degerminated cornmeal and grits. That was the only thing I changed. And my weight started coming back down. So that's how I know it was the enriched grains that had the weight on me. If it makes sense what I'm saying, drop a 4 in the chat. I wasn't doing, you feel me? There was no other elements of change besides that. If it makes sense how I could know that that's the reason why I had the weight on me, drop a 4 in the chat. You know? We got to, and if you got to go to lose weight, I see you see what they do, man. Push what they do. Okay, Tab, good. So we are Teasy, what's good? Okay, good. So on the same page, good. Dion, what's good? All right, good. So if you got to go to lose weight, I highly encourage you to think about that and like to take advantage of that. Numbers don't lie. So if I'm lying to you, for example, let's say you take inventory and you notice that you're eating enriched grains every day. If you decide to stop eating enriched grains that's not enriched, and you start weigh yourself today and weigh yourself every morning and after you use the bathroom and every night before you lay down and go to sleep, and make sure that you're not eating enriched grains, you replace them with the grains that wasn't enriched. If you do that every day and you weigh yourself every day like that, if your weight don't change, then you know what I'm saying don't work. But if it does change, you'll know it's because of that. It was the grains, the enriched, ultra-processed chemical grains. All right? So look, I want to ask y'all a question. If you got to go to lose weight and you're not reading ingredients every time you buy something from the grocery store, and you want to make this change from the enriched grains to the natural grains, you're going to start reading the ingredients. I want you to put I am in chat. Let me see who gonna lock in and actually make a change today. If you're going to read the every time you buy something from the grocery store, so you're aware of what's in it, drop I am in the chat. Let me see who locked in. Carmi, what they do, man. Carla, what's good? Sammy, nice. Tanisha, I see you. Vex, what's good? Helen, what's good? I see you, Conway. Judah, I love that name. I love that name. Chris, what they do, man? Oh, man. I see you, Denise. What's good? I do MMA. I cut weight for fights. That's live. I have to diet and cut water weight, but with this method, I think I won't have to. That'll be interesting. And you know what? You know, I wish I would have. I got to get back active, man. I haven't been exercising. I haven't stayed consistent with that. But I used to ball. I played football. I had got a full ride scholarship, and I went to FIU on a full ride. I actually played football with Frank Gore. Frank Gore was on the same football team at Carl Gables. I'm from Coconut Grove, and so I wish I would have ate like this back then until I've seen, because I was eating all type of trash, and when I was balling, you know what I mean? When I was really active and pushing myself like that. So I'm curious as to like the energy level, the body weight fluctuations, just getting off all of the heavily processed foods and chemicals, and just being active like that. I have a feeling that I would have had even more energy. You know what I'm saying? Like, because these things just like it was putting the weight on me. So it just makes sense. Like if I would have been eating better, was active like that, I probably would have been balling even better. You feel? I feel the same with fighting and everything. Like I think it just make everything better. But I ain't put it to the test personally. But I'm gonna do it. I gotta do it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it, man. I will do it. I'm gonna start getting more like active. But the good news is, you know, comes to weight loss, for a lot of people, exercising ain't that easy. Because I see it in comments. People be like, bro, you overcomplicating it. All you got to do is exercise, count your calories, bro. It's not that complicated to lose weight. I'd be like, if that's the case, everybody would do it. Obviously, it is complicated for some of us. You know what I'm saying? Let me ask you a question. If it's not that easy to exercise and count calories every day, drop a 4 in the chat. If you feel like it's that easy to exercise and count calories every single day, drop a 4 in the chat if that's kind of like challenging for you to do. If you feel like it is easy, drop a, let it be known in the chat. Let me see. Drop a 4 if you feel like it's not easy. Vex, I see you. See what I'm saying? It ain't just me. That's what I'm saying. Dad, what they do? Tony, what's up? You see what I'm saying? Solid, what they do? Brenda, what's good? Natty, what's up? I see ya. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. So, Here's the thing, right? While we're on the topic, and I talk about this in my book, on the topic of calories. And this is why I say, I'm not sometimes people think I'm a vegan. People like, I'll be in like, especially when I put a post up and it go viral, every time I go outside, recognize me. Almost every single time I go to a grocery store, if I'm getting gas or something, like at least once somebody gonna be like, oh, you're the guy, I be seeing you on TikTok, I be seeing you on YouTube. Duh. And a lot of times people be like, oh, you the vegan, I be seeing you on Instagram, you that vegan dude, man, what's up? And I'll be like, dang, because I'm not a vegan. You know what I'm saying? I lost 100 pounds and I was eating meat like every day. I lost 80 pounds of the 100 eating meat. Like, I started cutting back on meat in 2020, but I started my weight loss journey in 2014. And so, and if I still eat fish to this day. And if I want a piece of steak, I'll eat it. I barely ever do, maybe once or twice a year. Maybe a few times max. Of lamb, every little here and there, you know what I mean? A few times a year. Just because when I eat the red meat now, it kind of messed my stomach up, man. But I gradually started cutting back on animal flesh 20. But that was more so for spiritual reasons. And I just I was just getting curious, but like, what would it be like, And so that's what I did, whatever. So for that reason, I'm not a vegan. But also why, even because one day I think I'll get to the point where I don't eat any animal products. I want to see what I'll be like after a year or two of not eating no animal products, because I want to know what that experience is like from experience. You know what I mean? But I'm not in no rush. But the point what I'm trying to make is even when I get to that point, I'm not going to consider myself a vegan, because what I disagree with is, and I'm not talking about like the people that I identify as a vegan. I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about the term vegan. It's not within the term of veganism that a vegan can't heavily process foods and chemicals. There's vegan options that are sold that are vegan friendly, that are heavily processed and have chemicals in them, like Impossible Burgers and cheese and, vegan butter and stuff like this. Like, there's plenty options, breads, you know what I mean? You go to a vegan restaurant and get something off the menu, and ingredients within what's presented is heavily processed and got chemicals. And so I'm not saying all vegans eat like that, but I'm just saying it doesn't specify that vegan can't. And so when I was looking around the landscape, I'm like, man, it ain't really nothing that I could really relate with that I would want to call myself that. Like, I can't call myself a vegetarian. I can't call myself a vegan. I call myself like a pescatarian, because none of them really specify about the heavily processed chemicals. You know what I'm saying? And so what I did was we created Naturalite. So I'm not a vegan. I'm a Naturalite. A Naturalite is someone who reads the ingredients. A Naturalite believes the ingredients matter, and we avoid the heavily processed foods and chemicals like vegans avoid animal products. Terry Grooms, I just seen the order come through. Terry is love. Some vegans eat meat, some don't. But we all believe the ingredients matter. And so, so we went through the trademark process last year and we got the trademark back. So I'm not a vegan, I'm a Naturalite. And why I'm going to be just like pushing it, it's a lifestyle. It's not a diet, it's a mindset. It's like, okay, I want to eat things. I'm tired of the heavily processed foods and chemicals. I want to eat the natural things, And so the mission of Naturalite, the goal, the vision, so anybody that identifies as a Naturalite is playing their role in making natural chemical-free foods the new American standard. We want to see America where when we go into the grocery store, we know the majority of the options in the grocery store are natural options and that wasn't put through ultra chemical processes. And so what we do as consumers, because we do have a lot of power as consumers, what we do is we don't support businesses that sell the heavily processed chemical options. We just don't shop. And so when there's millions of us that are thinking like that and reading the ingredients and being intentional, companies are going to have to shift over, give us what we want, or they ain't going to make money. The people that do decide to give us the natural versions, they're the ones getting all the money. Does it make sense what I'm saying? If you agree with the Naturalite Life, drop a 4 in the comments. Let me see who agrees with the Naturalite. Like I say, I'm not a vegan, I'm a natural man. Drop a 4 in the comments if you agree with the Naturalite lifestyle. If you want to take part in the natural lifestyle, if you want to be aware, if you want to read the ingredients and choose natural ingredients. I see you, man. If you want to see in America where natural chemical free food is the standard, like it's not like it. When you go to other countries, man, a lot of places you could travel, and when you go around in the world, I'm looking forward to doing world travel, but I got friends traveling the world. They be like, man, I go over there and I go to losing weight, eating bread. The food tastes way better. I'm reading the ingredients. It's totally different ingredients. The same product. Like, I'm not going to call out any product names, but it'll be the same brand name over there. Got a whole different list of ingredients than over here. What's going on with that? So that's what I'm saying. So Naturalites, we doing what we got to do, and we ain't supporting it. We're being aware. And that's what a Naturalite is. We're not trying to boycott or picket. We're not trying to lock arms and stop people from eating heavily processed food. We're not doing that. We as individuals, we just taking responsibility for ourselves. Like, okay, look, I'm not gonna do it. And when there's enough of us that as individuals that are thinking like that, change gotta happen. Change gotta happen. So that's what it is. That's what it is with Naturalite. And that's why we launched GoNaturalite.com. And that's what my books. This is a Naturalite book. This specifies the Naturalite consumption method, like just identifies how to choose natural options, because it's just about being this little light is bothering me coming through this blind right now. It's like shining there. Every time I lean forward, it's like hit me in my eye, like it's like a laser. But anyways, I lost track of my thought, but I just thought about this though. So, if you ever, let me ask you a question. If you ever counted calories to lose weight, drop a yes in the chat. If you never did, drop a no. If you ever counted calories to lose weight, drop a yes in the chat. If you never did, drop a no. I actually talk about this in my book. This is a piece of me a lot, and it's very interesting to me personally. I see you. Who's what? Sharonda, what's good? Tara, what's up? Vex, Yasmin, what's good? Okay, I see a lot of yeses. More yeses than no's. There's a few no's. Yola. So I did. I tried counting calories and portion control and all of that. It was kind of like, for me, I did it for like probably about a month. And that kind of fell off just because, write everything down. It was hard for me to stay consistent. So, but good news, if it was difficult, I lost 100 pounds. I didn't count calories at all. I did ingredients, and I did learn the tricks in the ingredients, and I'll get more of the tricks in the ingredients in a second. But check this out. This blew my mind when I realized it. I was counting calories. I had no idea how to identify a calorie. Think about what I'm saying. Like, if someone were to take a chip, right, or a cracker, and get a microscope with that little glass tray and put the cracker. Courtney Perry, I just seen the order come through. Courtney is love. We're doing a sale for all my books. If anybody want to grab a copy, feel free. I got the link underneath my profile picture right now during this live at GoNaturalite.com. But if I were to take a chip or a cracker and I would have put it up underneath one of them little glass trays and look at it underneath a microscope, and someone were to give me a pointer pen and say, point out the calorie molecule, I wouldn't even know how to identify. I wouldn't know I wouldn't even be knowing what to look for. If someone were to say, point out one calorie molecule. If you wouldn't be able to point out the calorie molecule, drop a 4 in the chat. If you would not be able, looking underneath a microscope at a cracker, and someone tell you, point out the molecule. If you would not be able to do that, drop a 4 in the chat. Let's just be real. Let me see who's locked in. Shay, what's up? I see you, man. They asking me to prove I'm not a robot on TikTok. Hold on. Okay, Tanya wouldn't be able to do it. Brenda, what they do? Taz, I see you. Teen, what's popping? Tawana, what's good? Right, I'm saying. So check this. So when I realized that, it bugged me out, man. I was really out here counting calories, And I don't even know what a calorie looked like. So how was I really counting calories? I wasn't counting calories. I was counting numbers on the back of packages. And so look, let me give you an example. Everybody know this chip. I don't want to show it too much because I keep getting flagged. But if you look right here in the calories, it say 150 calories, right? So here go another one. First of all, let's look at the ingredients in these right here. When you look at the ingredients, I see vegetable oil, corn, maltodextrin, monosodium glutamate. I see dextrose, lactose, natural artificial flavors, red 40, lake, yellow 6, lake, yellow 5, red 40, blue 1, citric acid, lactic acid, disodium encinate, and disodium glucose. But I also see 150 calories, right? All right, so 150 calories for this. Okay, now for this one, let's look at the ingredients. Potatoes, avocado oil, sea salt. Look at this list of ingredients right here. It look like a Bible, as opposed to this list of ingredients: potatoes, avocado oil, sea salt. So what I'm saying, when it comes to chips, I stopped eating type chips and I started eating these type chips. And I would just use like a natural dip if I wanted the flavor with the chips. And I was losing weight still eating chips. But this is what I'm saying. Jasmine Johnson, I just seen the order come through. It said 150 calories on this, but this one got 160. So if I'm counting calories, I'm saying this got less calories. One Tito said, "You have changed my life." That's love. That's love. But you taking action, so really you the one changing your life. I'm just a messenger. Each one teach one. Nothing new under the sun. Everything already been done. And, pat yourself on the back. Just stay consistent. That's the only thing I ask. Stay consistent. But look, that's trippy, right? So what I'm saying, like, this is how I know from experience that calorie is like, it's game. There's a lot of little tricks making things more overcomplicated. It's not that complicated, man. That's why it's the Naturalite Lifestyle. It's like, okay, let's just eat natural foods, man. So all we got to do is learn how to identify the tricks. The majority of everything we need to know to lose the weight we want to lose while still eating what we love is in the ingredients. We just got to know what to look for. So for example, like with this, right? Everybody know about these type of crackers, right? So when we look at the ingredients, right, we see unbleached, enriched flour. But notice right here, it say baked with whole wheat flour. So this why I be saying it's the tricks that we got to be aware of. So if it say whole wheat, I'm like, man, that's whole wheat. So I'm like, oh, so when I see it's enriched, I'm like, okay, they lying. Not lying. Because look, it say unbleached, enriched flour. Then also it's wheat flour. So it's a mix. They do put some wheat flour in here. They also put the enriched flour in here. You see the trick? So they're not lying. It is whole flour in here. And guess what? They're not lying. So, but then there's also enriched flour in here. And guess what? Here's another trick. And it's something good to be aware of. Not really a trick, but just it's a lot of people. This was valuable information for me because I just wasn't aware of it. When you're looking at the first ingredient is what is being used the most by weight. And then the second is the second most. Third is the third most by weight. Fourth is the fourth most. So it go by order from the most to the least in the ingredient list. If it makes sense, drop a yes in the chat. If it don't make sense, drop a no. I'm curious because when it comes to the ingredient, when you read the ingredients, that first ingredient, that's the one that the product is the majority. That's it. And then everything after that is less and less in order of. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, good. Okay, Chris, one person said, but most people get it. In order by weight from most to least in the ingredients. So the last ingredient is what is used the least amount. It might just be a little bit of that. But first ingredient, that's the majority of it. So when this is, look at what we're saying, this is wheat flour, but the majority of it is unbleached enriched flour. Because that's the first ingredient. But this is what I was saying, right? Look at the calories. 70. All right, cool. Now here go an example of a cracker sold in the same in grocery store. But also look, you see unbleached, you see unfloured wheat flour, then you see niacin, reduced iron, thiamine mononitrate, riboflavin, folic acid, whole grain wheat flour, soybean and or canola oil, sugar, palm oil, calcium phosphate, high fructose corn syrup, and soy lecithin in these, right? And saying with 70 calories, right? All right, bomb. This one, ingredients: vegetable flour blend. So they use sweet potato flour, parsnip flour, celery root flour. Notice none of them was enriched. Seed flour blend. So they also use sunflower seed flour and flour. All right. Cassava flour, tapioca starch, organic sunflower oil, Himalayan salt, and rosemary extract. That's all that's in this. I recognize all them words. Calories, 140 as opposed to 70. But what I'm saying is when I stopped eating these and I switched to crackers like these, I lost weight. So them numbers ain't adding up to me. Somebody flogged me. Right or wrong? If it makes sense what I said, drop a yes in the chat. If it don't make sense what I just said, drop a no in the chat.
Yeah, y'all trying to off me this wrong group for skinny girl. Yeah. Thank you.
Well, here's the thing, right? And that's a real good point too. Like, cause my whole life I was skinny, man. Like, not my whole life, but the majority of my life. Like when I was growing up, I played sports. I was always active. I was always outside running around. Like I used to love going and playing. Like I was an active kid. You know what I mean? I'm 42 now, and so football, basketball, ran track, and all of that. And I didn't start gaining weight till I was about 26, 28, 29, 30, 31 is when between 31 and like 29, it was like a 15-month period where I gained 50 pounds. I blew up in over a 15-month period. And so there's that. But then also when it comes to weight, right? Like I was just talking with our son's friend. His mom seen me on TikTok and was like, "Dang, I didn't even know you was like." When she was like, "When I seen you," I was like, "Dang, I didn't even know you was big like that." Like, so she was tripping off that, and she bought the books and everything. But she was saying like she's always been skinny, but she got health issues, and she feel like it's how she been eating. And so I know people like that. Like I was one of them. When I was younger, I thought I would never get big because I would eat a lot and not get big, but it caught up to me personally. But I think it's a genetic. People just not gonna get big. They can eat whatever, and they just don't get big. Like, drop off the chat if you know anybody like that. Like they eat fast food, eating big portions, and they just don't never get big. Drop a 4 in the chat if you ever met someone like that. And they could be 40, 50, 60 years old and always been skinny, but eat crazy. Like they eat pork and bacon and big breakfasts, and they eating fast food, and they just don't never get big. I think it's a genetic thing. So there's people that know people like that. I know quite a few people like that. But the majority of the people that I know that are my age and older, that I've known since I was young, or had conversations with, like my people that are elder, it's the majority of us end up gaining weight. It catch up with us if we not eating right. So there's that. But then it's the energy. For me, what happened was when I started cutting out the heavily processed foods and the chemicals, especially. What happened for me was I used to deal with anxiety and depression. When it comes to my emotions, anxiety and depression were the two that I dealt with the most that were bad emotions. And I never forget when it hit me that I wasn't dealing with that. After like 3 years of staying consistent, getting off a lot of these processed foods and chemicals and reading the ingredients and making these changes that I made, I never forget when it hit me. I was like, dang, when the last time I was depressed for real? I had to fast like a year. So when I do the math, it took about 2 years of consistency for my emotions to balance out. Anxiety, I had to think back like a year before. When was the last time I had like an anxiety attack? Like, because I used to get them. I get anxiety and I feel like I tense up. And it just felt crazy. Like, I used to hate when it would hit me. And I thought it was behind trauma that I've been through. Because we all, everybody got their stories, and you know what I mean? I've been through a few traumatic experiences. And so like, I kind of like chalked it up to that. I thought anxiety came from trauma. But in hindsight now, I think it was because I was eating foods with chemicals in them that affects. Like, there's been billions of dollars spent in developing chemicals for foods that entice us to want to keep on eating. There's been billions of dollars spent in chemicals in our food that when we eat it, it's a mouth high that happens. It's like a taste high that happens, and it's endorphins released in our brain. And this is all public information. So matter of fact, it's a great documentary to watch, and it's only 15 minutes, but it's a 60-minute documentary. That news show, 60 Minutes? They did a documentary on natural flavors. If you've never seen it, go to YouTube and you could YouTube search 60-minute documentary about natural flavors. And you'll see it pop up as a 15-minute documentary that the news show 60 Minute did years ago. And watch that about natural flavors. Come to find out that it's not even natural flavors are super chemicals. They're not even natural. Just like how, when you read artificial flavors, that makes sense. That's not natural. Everybody knows artificial flavors ain't natural. But natural flavors is just like artificial flavors. Could be worse. But they just derive it from someplace natural. So by law, they could call it a natural flavors because they derived the flavor from someplace natural. Then they bring it through a process of synthesizing it. So it's synthetic after that. And then they just could flip the synthetic chemical over and over again. But these chemicals, they make us want to keep eating for one, but then they also have other concerning side effects. So, I came up with whatever I felt like eating, man. I was eating all type of candies. I was eating Little Debbie snacks. I would always, I used to stay here in the corner store, especially like in high school. Like I would every day after school, I would go to the corner store. I would get the little quarter juices, like the little hug juices, like the blue ones. I like the red ones. I get a blue and red little quarter juice. I get a couple quarter chips. I might get some Doritos and some Funyuns or whatever. I might get some Cheetos, some Flamin' Hot Cheetos and some Doritos. And then I'll probably I might get a Capri Sun pack, and then I get some Little Debbie snacks. Certain days I might get a Snickers or something like that. You know what I mean? And that's how I was eating that every single day. On top of when I eat rice, it was ultra processed and enriched. The flour I was eating, the bread, the cookies, the snakes, the snacks, the donuts, all of that. I was eating so many chemicals my whole life. Day after day after day after day after day after day after day. And I believe there's a compound effect that happened with me. I believe for me, what happened was a compound effect that led me all the way to the point where I had anxiety in me, depression. I would get angry for little things sometimes that wasn't even that serious, and I was super mad. And afterwards, I'd be like, damn, what I got that mad for? It wasn't even that serious. But in the moment, it was me. But I think it was them chemicals, man. That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm a Naturalite. A Naturalite is someone who believes the ingredients matter. I lived 31 years of my life buying things out the store and not even reading the ingredients. I didn't know what was in it. And so book, Life Matters, So Let's Eat Like It, right? I wrote the book because this is what I noticed before I wrote my book. I didn't know I was going to write a book about this. Like, I was just trying to lose weight. But this is what I noticed, right? And this is what tripped me out. When I would go to the grocery store, I would always read the ingredients because I was getting the results that I wanted. I lost 100 pounds, man. I was losing weight. This was me. I lost the weight. Everybody was telling me I looked better. My energy was getting better. You about to slide? Yeah. Later. Till next time, man. My energy was getting better and all of that. You know what I mean? And So I wanted to stay consistent. Like I wanted to do it. What happened for me was I used to feel like the things that I had to do to lose weight, I didn't really want to do them. You feel me? Like I didn't really want to eat healthy food. I didn't like the way healthy food tastes, the way the self-talk that I had. Like, let me know if you can relate in the comment. Like, I knew I needed to eat better and eat healthy, but I didn't like the way healthy food tastes. I was thinking, you know? Or I felt like healthy food cost too much. That's how I was thinking. And so, yeah, okay, Kathy, what's up? So, Vero, what's up? So that's what I'm saying. Like, when I started to pay attention, though, to the ingredients, and I started to switch out the processed chemical ingredients, natural ingredients, and I learned how to identify them in ingredients. I'll go more into details in a second. But what happened was I was losing the weight, still eating food that I like. I was still eating pasta, macaroni and cheese. I was still eating fried chicken, French fries, burgers, and the weight was coming off me, right? And so I remember when it hit me that I had a mindset shift from feeling like eating healthy was a mission and I didn't really want to do it to, man, I've been eating, like I've been eating chocolate chip cookies. I've been eating chocolate cake made with the natural flour, made with sugar that wasn't put through that ultra granulation process. I was eating food that I love the way it tastes. I was eating fish, chicken. I lost 80 pounds eating everything that I like to eat. I just stopped eating the heavily processed versions of it. And I just had to learn how to identify them. So then I remember I could have been doing this. I want to eat like this. The only thing I got to do is read the ingredients, and now I know what to look for. So all I got to do is double check the ingredients, make sure this is a good version. And I want to do this. So as I was shopping over the years, I was always looking at the ingredients, and then I couldn't help but start to notice how many people wasn't looking at the ingredients. And then I was just reflecting on my life, like, man, I ain't never used to look at the ingredients. I look at the calories, and I would look at like how much fat, the cholesterol, sodium, carbohydrates, and then I realized that this is a marketing tactic. Like they put square box or the rectangular box around it with the bold lines. They make calories bold, nutrition facts big and bold, and then they put the ingredients in little letters. Little that look like the same type of letters as like where the address of the company at. You'll get lost in it. You wouldn't even really pay attention to it. The ingredients is what matter. But they seem like the calories is more important. So I got caught up in that trick. But what I'm saying is, I lived 31 years without paying attention to ingredients. As I started paying attention to ingredients, I started to notice how few people look at ingredients. When I was shopping, I look to this day, I watch people not trying to be nosy or nothing. I'm just curious. Like how many people ain't reading the ingredients? It's the majority. The majority of us just for all the reasons that there are, but you know what I'm saying? So I peeped that, I was like, man, if people knew, if more people knew, more people would be doing it. You know what I'm saying? It just ain't really being talked about that much. Now it is more now, but like, especially 10 years ago, it wasn't people. I'm telling you, I know from watching people and start paying attention when you go shopping, start reading the ingredients and start watching other people. And like, I can't help, I notice people, I see what's in their cart, and I already know them options is going to make it hard for you to lose weight if you're trying to. It's going to make it easy for you to gain weight. And then I notice the person overweight. So I'm like connecting the dots. I'm like, man, that's why I talk about it so much. It's important. The ingredients matter, man. Straight up. Does your book teach how to do this? Yeah, it's a book of principle. I make it real simple to understand. That's why I wrote it the way that I did. Like once you read the whole book, we got a Naturalite checklist at the end of the book. And once you read the whole book, it makes perfect sense. But I put this checklist in here. As long as you could check off all them boxes, like answer yes to all the questions. For example, like if you're gonna eat a burger, if you can't check off all the boxes, then you know you're eating the wrong version of that burger. And if you can check off all the boxes, then you know you're eating the right version. So I make it as simple as I can. It's not that complicated. You know what I mean? It really comes down to like, you know, the grains, identifying the processes and the tricks and the labeling. You know what I mean? So it's the grains, the salts, sugars, the oils. You know what I mean? Being aware of what we're drinking. It really comes down to, you know, mindset, food choice awareness, liquid choice awareness, and really having a personal system of accountability and measuring the results. You know what I mean? That's it. Once you, and it really, you could sum it up in 2 words. Eat natural. That's how I lost 80 pounds. And then I lost another 20 pounds down the line from doing the same thing. I just was cutting out dairy. I cut out dairy and meat. I didn't cut it all the way out, but I cut back. And I lost more weight. I went down to 160. Now I'm back in the 170s. I went back up. But I went all the way down to 170 at one point. What do you think of the brand name? I be getting those chips. I'm not even gonna say the brand name, but why don't give, and I actually talk about this in my book, why I don't give brand name advice, because I've seen over 20 times over the last 11 years, I've seen brands selling a natural product, and then they change the ingredients and keep the packaging the same. Brands are bought out by other companies, and then it might not be in the terms of the agreement of the sale that the ingredients got to stay the same. They'll change it, or it could be incentivized to add ingredients. You get what I'm saying? So what I'm doing my best to. We've been programmed. Like, the amount of mental manipulation that happens is incredible. Programming, like, it's a thing. It's ancient knowledge, you know. You could program people with using colors. You could program them using visual. You could program people using sound frequencies. You could program people using words. It's called neural linguistic programming, NLP. Well, I missed it. I just seen the name Cynthia. I think it was. I seen the order come through as love. Music is a major grammar. Repetition, anything that happens repetitive over and over, is programming. There's all different type of ways that we get programmed, is the point what I'm trying to say. And so we've been programmed to consume based on brand recognition. That's why most everybody goes shopping, they just look at the front of the box. Most people don't read the ingredients. And so I'm doing my best to program and to help people reprogram themselves to buy products based on the ingredients, not the brand name. I don't want the brand name. I care about the ingredients. I will buy an off-brand whatever if it's natural ingredients by a super big brand name, because I recognize the brand that got bad ingredients. I shop based on a Naturalite shop based on the ingredients. If it makes sense what I just said, drop a 4 in the chat. I can't see your book. The weight loss book is Life. This is the Naturalite's guide to eating, basically. It's simple to understand how to choose the natural versions of all the foods you like to eat. I explain how I lost 100 pounds, still eating the foods that I like to eat. I see the 4 dropping. It's all love. If anybody want to grab a copy of the Bill Free, I got the link underneath my profile picture. We're actually doing a sale right now. It's a flash sale. We actually sold out of my most recent book. I'm a 3-time best-selling author now. It's a trip, man. I'll be tripping in 2020. If you seen where I was 5 years ago to where we at now, it's anything is possible. But look, we sold out of this book so fast, and there's a window. We ordered a bulk order, and so it's a window before our next shipment gonna come in. So we went back to taking pre-orders for this. So since it might be like a couple weeks before you get the book, doing a sale right now for all the books. So if anybody want to grab a copy, feel free. During this live, you can get a discount also for books. So I wrote Life Matters, So Let's Eat Like It, and this is our family cookbook. This is my family here. We actually all participated in making this book, and we set a goal to hit best-selling status, and we actually hit #1 on Amazon in multiple categories. And so now we're a family full of best-selling authors. So this is a cookbook with 62 Naturalite recipes that fit these principles. You know what I mean? We got meat recipes in there, veggie recipes in there, cooked food recipes, raw recipes. We got rice, pasta. You know what I mean? We got sauces, desserts, breads, you know? All Naturalite approved, though. That's the point. So if anybody want to grab those, it's all love. Can't find the link. So it's gonaturalite.com, and it's spelled like this. Natural, and then ITE, all one word, gonaturalite.com. But if you go to what is this, Facebook? If you go to my homepage, You'll see it. You'll see my enter in my profile picture right underneath that. You'll see in my bio. You'll see the link for GoNaturalite.com. Yeah, they're on. And we sell the books on Amazon as well. Only reason why I sell them on Amazon is because I want to be an accredited best-selling author. Amazon keeps 5% of book sales. They big pimping, and they don't. It ain't like they help me sell the book. When I promote, and I market the book, the sales go up on Amazon. When I slow down, they go down. But they keep it 65% of the profit. That's why I don't. But people don't feel comfortable shopping on like the website that we made. You know what I mean? And I get it. I used to be like that, you know? Now I know there's ways to check the validity of websites, but a lot of people just aren't savvy or not gonna say savvy, but just don't understand how to do that yet. And so the reason I keep it up on Amazon too, for the people that are like how I used to be. You know what I mean? They feel comfortable. They know when when you get something on Amazon, you're gonna get it. You know what I mean? But check out our website though. Look at it. I'm proud of it. And I say because what happened was we used to say thing on JabezInvest.com. That was the first website that we had made on Shopify. And we sold over 50,000 copies of this book on that website. And that was just learning how to figuring it out step by step. And then I connected with Ken and Bob because I joined Myron Golden's Mastermind last year. And this is random, but it's just I feel like it's for that's on his live. If you've heard of a mastermind, put a yes. If you know what a mastermind is, put a chat. If you don't know what a mastermind is, put a no. I'm just natural like not it's like natural. We avoiding the heavily processed foods and chemicals. We choosing natural food options. So it's natural, ITE, Naturalite. Okay. But yeah, I see some yeses and some nos. So a mastermind, right, is like masterminds that are happening all over the country. So people that achieve, it's 9 out of 10 times it's a millionaire that starts a mastermind. Like they've been able to achieve millionaire status and stay consistent for a while. So, and they got respect in their field. What they'll do is they'll start a mastermind and people pay them to be in the mastermind. And so the purpose of the mastermind is for the person who created it to give out the sauce, like everything that he's doing that's working or she's doing that's working. When you're in the mastermind, you're going to get that information, you know what I mean? And how to scale your business and everything they're doing, what programs they're using, that work, everything, you know what I mean? So Myron Golden has a mastermind. Shout out Golden. If you're unfamiliar with Myron Golden, especially if you're into money, I highly suggest studying Myron Golden. Daisy, I don't want to mess your last name up, Daisy, but I just seen the order come through as love. Myron Golden, super lit. If you look him up, it's Myron Golden. That's his name. He got a YouTube channel. He's across platforms, but he got like 1 million followers on YouTube. But super wise man, and what I like about him, he uses biblical principles in business. Like he's been able to achieve millions and millions and millions. I mean, he's a super millionaire, but he's achieved it from a formula that he got out of the Bible. And so he explains that formula on his YouTube channel, and he goes into more detail in his mastermind. And so his mastermind costs $55,000 to be in for 1 year. And so what he does challenge. He'll do like a 5-day challenge, and you could pay like between $100 and $800 levels. And it's a 5-day online thing, and you'll learn a lot. I highly recommend his 5-day challenge. He does it every month, but I did his 5-day challenge, and then at the end of the challenge, he give you the option if you want to join the mastermind or not, and it's $55,000 for a year. 4 times a year, everybody that pays that $55,000 meet up in Tampa 3 days, and it's a mastermind. He gives out all the game, and then get to network with everybody else that's there that paid the money. So I did it last year, and it was the most I ever invested. $55,000 was not a little bit to me, but I was something my spirit was telling me to do, so I did it. And I'm glad I did, man. I put $26,000 down, and I was paying $500 and some change a week, right? And so every week there's virtual like meetings, And every 4 months, or every 3 months, every quarter, they have the in-person mastermind. And so it was just so interesting to meet all of the people that was in that mastermind. It's almost probably about 100 people there. And he got one level where you could pay $55,000. He got another level where you for a year access. He got another level that's $350,000 for a year, and you get more access, more information. You just get more than a $55,000 level. And then he has another level that's $1 million for a year to be a part of that mastermind. $1 million, and people paying it. But everybody's in the room. And then there'll be the events during them 3 days that the $350,000 people going to, everybody can't get in that. And then the $1 million. His name Myron Golden, man. And everybody that paid, nobody complaining. But anyways, the point why I brought him up, that's why I met Ken and Bob. And they own Medicate. Shout out Ken, Bob, George, the whole Medicate team. And I was, me and Ken went to chopping it up. And he's living the Naturalite lifestyle. I went to explaining to him about what a Naturalite was. I told him about the books and whatever. I was showing the social media and all of that. And that's how we began our relationship. And we ended up actually deciding to co-found Go Naturalite and the Naturalite business, because he knows so much more than me about business. And we're in an alignment with our ethics and our morals and our standards and our, philosophies. And so when you go to the website and you see Go Naturalite, when you go to gonaturalite.com and you look at how the website look, it looked clean like that because of them. So we're in a partnership now, and we're going to grow this thing up. And I'm learning so that that connection made the whole mastermind worth it. You feel me? And got more connections for taxes and investments and all type of. I got a financial advisor and all that. I met all the people in that mastermind. That was Myron Golden. Yep, you spelled it right, Tara. Spelled just like that. You can look him up on YouTube. He black. He got gray hair. He look like Moses, man. And he is super smart. Like when I look at him, I'm like, I bet King Solomon looked just like him. He probably was King Solomon in another life, for real. Myron Golden, one of them ones. He's a genius, man. He really is. He's helped a lot of people, a lot of big, especially African American, influencers and people that got real big on social media and that are making cool money, big millionaires. A lot of them got the game from Myron Golden. He the father of figuring out how to make money online and, structuring intellectual property and helping people and turning it into a business. He's a genius with all that. Huh? Nice. Yeah, she texted me, but I couldn't get off the live. She texted me that she was going to get dropped off. Yeah, I'm going to shout out Myron, man. So what I like, too, about his business is family. It's awesome. The whole mastermind, the whole business is, he gets him, his wife, his daughter, his son. They're all involved. And they all just crazy smart. Cool, man. He's one of them families. I respect what they're on, and I analyzed it, and it'll be a lifelong thing, Paying $1 million to hear you speak is, well, yeah, it is, but it's more than just that, though. It's and that's the thing. I used to feel like that was when it comes to a lot of money for things like that, I used to think that people was getting over on people, but I don't know how to explain it. It's not that. Be that, but I'm saying I know Myron Golden's situation ain't that. But if you go there and you don't apply what you learn and actually make the moves and make the connections and turn something that you'd have wasted the money, but it ain't like he's gonna do it for you. You got to do it. But the how-to is right there, man, and the people that you need to make the moves, they all right there. So that's what he created, that environment. So it's not like the people that pay $1 million, they ain't paying $1 million just to hear him speak. They paying $1 million tactics, the actual people to connect with for this to happen and for this to happen, the actual how-to. And look, I take this numbers person and tell them you need this done. Tell them I sent it, all of that. You know what I mean? They're paying $1 million for all that, and then they be flying on private jets and masterminding into all that. It's more than just the $1 million package. You know what I mean? Everybody that's in that million, that paid that $1 million, and then it's mind blowing what they're doing with their life. Is what I'm saying. Quan, I just seen the order come through as love. Anyways, I got totally sidetracked. That wasn't the purpose of this live. Let's keep it moving. I wanted to hit on this live. But why I said that, though, that's how I linked up with our partners. And so it's like a group of us at Go Naturalite is what I'm saying. It's just me and my wife and our children anymore. It's us and the whole medic team. And we're getting organized to actually bring up the goal for Naturalite. We know the money gonna come, and we're setting up business and structures of business for the money to come. And we want to be able to prove that you can make a lot of money actually providing value to people and being moral and ethical. Like you don't have to be dishonest to make money. You don't have to lie. You don't have to do none of that. But the goal isn't money. Our goal is to make natural chemical free food the new American standard. And we know that it's going to take millions of people to accomplish that goal. So we're doing everything to connect and build community to where it's a movement that happens where it's millions of people choosing to be aware and believing that the ingredients matter and choose natural food options. And also millions of people that say, you know what, I need to understand agriculture. I need to understand how to acquire land and do agriculture. Because if I don't, that means I got to put all my trust in other people to do that. I know how to grow food and beneficial plants and how to work the land and the land. If I don't know how to do that, then I got to go to other people to do that for me. Right or wrong? That's why I wrote, the more we grow, the more we'll see everything we need is free. That's why I made this in 2020 when I really went to analyze it, because I obsess over my goal, and my biggest goal. I really genuinely want to help over 1 million people get down to their natural size and stay there for life. That's what it's about for me. And so I obsess over that. Like I dream about it. I wake up thinking about it. Like I'm thinking, how do I really? That's my purpose. That's part of the purpose why I'm here. Feel me? And so it hit me in 2020 that I was dependent on the grocery stores and restaurants for my food. During the pandemic, it hit me that if there were to be a food shortage, if they were to shut down the grocery stores, remember they shut down the restaurants. And then there was talk that they might shut down the grocery stores. And I was thinking we might be about to go into the apocalypse during the pandemics for real. I was one of the ones that was paranoid. During that period of time, I remember how I got spooked. Like, dang, if they just shut the food supply, how my family gonna eat, man? I didn't like the way that felt. I realized how dependent I was. What my mind took me back to was, this ain't good, and I'm not fired or anything like that. But what I'm saying, in my old life, like when I would make money in the street, I learned a lesson going through that process. I learned a valuable lesson of when you depend on somebody, how they could go up on the price. They could basically try you. If they're the only person that you know to go to get what you need, they got control of the situation. But if you got other options, they tighten up. I learned that along the way. Soon as somebody know that you're the only one, they can try you. That's why prices is going so high in the grocery store right now. People be saying, oh, healthy food costs too much. Can you give me a friendly option? I wish. All food costs too much. Let's keep it real. Have you looked at a pack of oxtails lately? Just look at chicken, at rice. Just look at anything. All the prices are up, man. And they don't went up crazy. But this is what I'm saying, like when I started, and that's why I started growing food. I started growing food because I realized that's the only solution. Like I can't sit back and wait for other people to do this for me. But the more of us that do that, the more of us that can trade with each other, we can build a community around it. Because this is what I learned from growing food. I used to want to grow food. When I started, I was like, I want to be able to grow enough food to supply my family with everything we need. That was the goal. But it changed from being out here. Like, now I realized that's a mission. Because you got to really plan it out to have enough throughout the different growing seasons for different crops and outright and make sure it's enough. You got to have the space, the time, and the strategy. And you got things, variables that could come up. Could be, you know, lack of water that come up. Be bugs that might hit your crop, animals, different things can come up when you're growing. And so, but it can be done. You know, that's why it's a lifelong for me, agriculture. Like I will forever be a student of agriculture. I'm never going to allow myself to feel like I know it all. There's always a way to get better. And so, but the point why is because I realized along the way that that ain't what it is for me anymore. Like being self-sufficient and growing enough food for my family. Now it's about inspiring people to grow and being in an area where I'm around other people that are growing, and then we could resources. You feel me? I want to be in a community where at least 50% of the people that live in that. Y'all be quiet, man. Who that is at the door? You know? Babe, you down here? Yeah. Who at the door? You know? Hold on one second. I'm coming right back. Hold up. But how when our soil and earth is depleted, you know what? I actually talk about that in my book. That's a great point, man, about the soil. But let me round thought though, because what I was saying was, what up? What I was saying, hold on, I'm coming right back. That's good. Short, a little short, ain't it?
Yeah.
Gee! But
I was gonna jack it, but then I took it off.
Uh-huh. But so what I was, come on, man, that's enough, okay? What was I saying? What was I saying? Oh, when there's enough of us that are growing, when I'm in an area where other people are growing, I could grow wheat, grapes, I could grow cucumbers, tomatoes, peppers, you know, and I could specialize in that. Someone else over here, they could grow green beans, they could grow, you know, rice, they could have a facility to take that rice and them grains and make flour. You know, someone over here could have whatever. You know what I'm saying? And so now corn. So now when it's a community of us that are growing, we could change resource, we could trade, and that I want to see that type of lifestyle. Like to me, that's the answer. It's like it ain't about self-sufficiency. It's like community sufficiency. I think that's what it is. And so that's why I wrote my book. Now I got to go to help over 1 million people see that it's really not hard to grow food. It really principles, understanding light, the sun, and the relationship that plants have with water, good water, and the relationship that plants have with water, soil, and the relationship that all plants have with the soil. And it's a different relationship for every plant. And also the climate, like the area and the relationship that the plants have with that area, because every plant ain't going to be able to grow in the climate. So once you understand those 4 principles, that's why I made it as easy as possible. Once you understand those 4 principles, it's up. It's just about the minor details, and then I just break it down where to get those answers and how easy it is to get those answers, and you'll be off and running, man. I used to think you needed a green thumb to grow food. It's not that. It's just you just need to understand what plants like, and then they'll grow. You know what I'm saying? The creator of all things created everything perfect. You know, we just got to learn how to work with it. That's all. Do you think rapture is coming? Do you think the rapture is coming? I don't know, man. I try not to think down that path. I used to. Why I don't think down that path now is because I want to take advantage of every moment. I think I'm more of a moment person. I do plan and I actually think 100 years out, but I'm more in the moment as far as like whatever, if that does happen, that's out of control. So what I try to do is prepare for that. Where I'm at right now in my development as a person is I believe the most wise thing is be a good person, like be moral, be ethical, understand what that means. So I studied what the word moral and ethics, I words and all the synonyms of those words and the words within the definition of those words. And so like I know what it means to be moral and ethical. And then I do my best to incorporate that into my character as a person. So I believe by doing that and having a relationship with the creator that I have, if that does happen, I'll be all right. You understand? But I gotta stay on that path. If I get off that path, then I gotta deal with what happens. And I don't even really know what's gonna happen. Who really knows, you know? Just gotta, learn as we grow. So I think about that.
Life every day with happiness. Live every day with happiness and don't look for others. Yeah, that's real, Jack. That's real.
Guess you can't see my comment. Sorry about that, Theodore. It's not that. It's just I'm on 5 different phones. You know what I'm saying? I'm on 5 different pages right now going live, and it's hard to answer everything.
Let me go back and see if I see what you wrote, Theodore. I don't even see it when I'm scrolling back. You just got to drop it again in the comments, Theodore. I'm going to try to catch it next time you write it. New Testament is different than the Old, 2 different gods. I don't feel, but that might be true. I think it's the same God. Because because I read the whole thing,
From Genesis through Revelation. It took me about almost 2 years, but even Yeshua in the New Testament, he prayed to the same God of the Old Testament, and there's evidence all through the New Testament about that. So, saying how the book goes. So,
definitely going to follow you. Like where you're coming from. That's love, Jack.
It does.
Can I use it if you have it?
Ain't that the regular, like the old school,
Yeah,
like
the old school charger, yeah.
No, is it?
Yeah, it's a little
Look in
charger.
my Bae, you got the charger in there for the mouse? Look in my drawer, just I got all type of chargers in there. One of them should work. I got my you gotta dig through it.
Do you eat meat? I'd eat fish. I actually talk about that in my book.
Some people think I'm a vegan. I'm not. I'm not a vegan. I'm a naturalite, and a naturalite is someone who avoids the heavily processed foods and chemicals. Like a vegan avoids products made with anything that has to do with animal in it. And so, some naturalites eat meat, some don't. And there are vegans right now that are actually naturalites too. They just don't identify. They don't know about it yet or whatever. But so, actually, when it comes to meat, in 2020, I altered the way I was eating. It was behind spiritual reasons because I read the whole Bible, and in the book of Leviticus, there's dietary laws. And I didn't know that. I didn't know there was dietary laws in the Bible and hygiene laws too. There were laws. And so, not like I'm talking about laws. And then if you Leviticus, you'll see. And for example, like it'll say a law, it'll say like the law, and then it'll say, even if a man is unaware of this, if he does this action, he is guilty. And I thought about like the little javelin, like boom, when you're guilty, it's bad after that. When you guilty, it's bad. When you get found guilty, it's bad after that. So I was like, dang. And so when it came to the animals, like it's a law about animals that walk on land. It's a law about the birds, and it's a law of the animals that live in the water. You know what I mean? And so I adjusted how I was eating after that. Like, for example, when it comes to animal in the water, it said that they got to have scales and fins. So I thought about catfish. I loved catfish, and like crab, conch. None of them got scales and fins. You know what I'm saying? Catfish got fins. They don't got no scales, though. And then like lobster and shrimp and crab and all that. I used to love all that. Conch was one of the hardest for me to give up. I love conch. But so for spiritual reasons, I was like, man, I wonder if it's been holding me back from blessings, eating these things, you know? So for that reason, I stopped. So, but, you know, like with land animals, like they got to have hooves and chew of the cud. And so like I had to look that up. That's like when an animal that eat vegetarian and they chew it up real good. They chew. They'll swallow it. They'll bring it back up. Chew it. Cows do it. Buffalo do it. Bison do it. Deer, elk, moose, lamb, sheep. It's a list of animals that chew of. You could Google it. You know, I was surprised to see that giraffes chew of and got hooves. So I was like, dang, according to the Bible, giraffes is on the menu. I was like, dang, that's crazy. I wonder if my ancestors was eating giraffe. I was like, I don't know if I eat a giraffe though. I was like, I'll be honest, I don't know, man. I don't think I want a giraffe. That sounds kind of crazy. Let me know, would you eat a giraffe? Put a yes in the chat if you would eat a giraffe, or put a no. I'm curious, man. I never asked this question. No, I'm serious. I'm curious. Drop a yes in the chat if you would eat giraffe. Drop a no if you wouldn't do it. Because I don't know. When I look at giraffes, I don't know, man. They look too majestic. I feel like, I don't know, man. Even they chew the cud, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it, man. I see the yeses dropping. Old me would have did it. I'm not gonna lie. I was up to experiment, but I've changed. Yeah, man. I don't know the giraffes. I wouldn't do it, man. But they got hooves and chew the cud. But anyway, so it's that, and also it's one of the laws is this battery on this phone, it might die. My battery, I'm less than 10%. So if they'll drop just because my battery died, I'm probably gonna be on this live about another 15. But one of the laws is, but see it, and then also it actually specified the swine, the pig. It got hooves, but don't chew with a cud. And them pigs, they'll eat anything. And so I was like, dang. Actually, that was the only animal that specified was the swine. And then, so I stopped. But I used to love ribs, barbecue ribs, pork chops, all that. I was like, dang, man. But I let it go. And then it also specified about that an animal, that when you eat an animal, it must be ceremonially clean under the laws. So I had to look that up because I didn't know what that meant. So that's an animal that lives in natural, and it has to live in its natural environment. It has to, when animal is killed, it has to be killed in a way where it didn't suffer and it didn't like panic before. There's got to be a quick death. So basically the animal can't see it coming. Quick death. And then you got to drain the blood right. And the animal has to be without blemish. So if it got any cancer in it, that's ceremonially unclean. So when I learned that, I was like, man, how am I supposed to know if anything in the grocery store is ceremonially clean? Because when it's in the grocery store, it's just in a pack, it's up in plastic. How am I supposed to know what happened before then? If it makes sense what I'm saying, drop a yes in the chat. If it don't, drop a no. I was like, there is no way for me to know, man. Period. Unless I work at that grocery store and I could trace it back to where the animal came from and animal's life process, and then I was there during the death of the animal and seeing the butchering of the animal to make sure the flesh ain't have no blemishes, I wouldn't know. And then also, the fact of the matter is, the majority of the meat that's getting sold in these big supermarkets, they've been living in these facilities that aren't its natural habitat. So that takes it off the ceremonially clean list right there. They're not roaming in the natural, and they're not eating their natural diet, man. A lot of these animals is eating like animal feed. And there's this dude, when I was at a networking event, right? This dude's a multimillionaire. And his wife, he became a multimillionaire, and his wife and her family was multimillionaires, right? His wife's brother inherited their family's it's a ranch down there in South America. Felicia Jackson, I just seen her come through as love. So he got, it's a huge ranch, and they do cattle, and so, but his friend, which was like a close friend to the family, so like the dude who I was talking to, his wife's brother's friend, so like she knew her brother's friend like their whole life. His friend's family was the source that, one of the sources that they would get cow feed from. And so because of that, they was able to see the warehouses and the manufacturing system of the cow feed. And they had one cow feed that they sold that was all natural. And they had another one that they put everything in. They was using, because there was other people that had farms over there, like when they would butcher the pigs, it'd be bones and brain part, like fur and parts of the animal that they would just have to throw away. And like same with like farms and like restaurants and like things, what they did, things that a lot of connections would just throw away, they would give it to them for like, and they would mix that in with the cow feed, and they was selling that cow feed nationwide for super cheap, and they was making millions. And he was like, yeah, man, these cows is eating pig and all. These cows, that cow feed got pig and all in it, and it was ranchers all over the world buying it, is what he was telling me. He was like, that's why he was saying when he get meat, he goes straight to the ranch and he pick out the cow, kill it. He's there for the butchering process. He want to see that because of that, because he know what's going on. That's what he was telling me. I was like, because I was telling him about my lifestyle and the Naturalite, and this is what he told me. And I was like, dang, that's crazy. That's why they were saying like with remember there was like the mad cow disease. Remember that back in the days when the cows was bugging out and glitching and all that, and people was getting sick eating it. Yeah, it's because them cows was in things that ain't in the real world. Them cows in their natural habits not gonna eat pigs, man. They mixed it in with vegetables and chemicals and all that to trick the cows. Same thing they doing to us. You eat it, it tastes good. You're gonna just keep on eating. You don't know. So that's why but that's the thing. But here's another thing, right? Every once in a while, I still eat steak. I'll roll the dice. So I don't want to sit here and leave that part out. I got to keep it real. Once in a while, I'll do it. You know what I mean? We'll be at a fancy restaurant or something, and I'll be like, man, I'll give me a look, you know. I eat some cheese on a pizza every once in a while. You know what I'm saying? But I'm like, dang, I know I'm rolling the dice right now. Already keeping the laws. You know? So, need that protein. It blew my mind when I learned that all fruits and vegetables have protein in it. That was another one of them things that I thought that I knew that I didn't really understand. I don't even know how to identify a protein molecule. I don't even really understand what protein is. I've heard it 1,000, probably 100,000 times in my life. Protein. If you're not eating animal, then you need to get a protein shake. Protein, need protein to be healthy and strong. But I don't know. I never didn't eat animal for a long period of time and actually exercise and actually like live a healthy lifestyle to see what would happen. I don't know. I'm just going off what I heard other people say. Part of programming, like if we hear something from, I think it's 7 different sources, the same thing, that the average human mind chalks it up as a truth. Even if it's a lie, it don't matter. You're going to believe it's true because you heard it from 7 different areas, the same thing. So you think it's true. So I don't know about the protein thing. I don't know. It blew my mind. But that is public information. All fruits and vegetables have protein in it. When I learned that, I was like, what? So my whole life I felt like yep. And a lot of people know this, but a lot of people don't, man. I appreciate that, 5. It's all love. Anyways, my brothers and sisters, I think I'm about to wrap this live up, and I think what I'm going to say is this. If you got to go to lose weight, this live ain't even go. I had a whole look. I had a step-by-step process I would go through. I was all the way. I didn't even follow what I don't know what just happened. It was probably meant though, but
if you got to go to lose weight, right? I encourage you to fall in love with the truth of where you at, you know? And why I said it, because earlier in the live I was talking about, because I used to be 100 pounds overweight. This was me in 2014. I had a day when I was at my all-time low, and I went and looked in the mirror and I realized I was holding my stomach in to make myself look smaller to myself. And I realized I was lying to myself without even speaking, because I was the only one in the bathroom. Like, I was using my body language to make my body look smaller to my eyes to feel better about myself. And I was able to see that in that moment, and I realized I had been doing that. And so I remember I just relaxed. I was like, and my stomach came out, my whole body looked different. And I was like, dang. And I was like, that's it. I'm done eating fast food. But when I seen it, when I seen it, the truth, and I looked at the truth, and I admitted to myself that I was lying to myself. I didn't like how that felt, and I made a choice. Stop eating fast food. And that was the beginning of my weight loss journey. And it's because I decided to look at the truth and I accepted it. So along the way, what started happening was I started to see the benefit in doing that. The things about myself that I don't like, those are the best things to love, accept, and work on getting better. I love myself that I don't like. I accept that's the truth of myself. I'm doing my best. There's areas in my life that I'm probably not even aware of right now, and parts of me. So it's not like I'm Mr. Perfect. That's not the point I'm trying to say is that I do my best to be like this. Like, I accept it for what it is, and I know, okay, I can work on this. What do I got to do? Let me stay consistent. Let me try this. Let me let me stay consistent. Let me get better at this. And so if you got to go to lose weight, I encourage you to love the truth of where you at. The only way to know the truth of where we're at is getting on the scale. I talk about this in my book, and I go more into detail in my coaching and all that, especially like part of our process. And we got a big surprise coming. We're working on a big surprise because we journal. When I coach people, I take people through a 30-day process, and we got a simple journal that's so impactful. But part of journaling is we got to weigh ourselves every single day. And we got to pay attention to what we eat so we can relate our food choices to our weight fluctuations. But that's a choice that if you got to go to lose weight, I'm asking you to make that choice, because that's when the magic starts happening. When you look at truth of your weight every day and compare it to the truth of your food choices. If it makes sense what I'm saying, drop a yes in the chat. If it don't make sense, drop a no. If it makes sense what I did, drop a yes in the chat. If it don't make sense, drop a no. Okay, good. We're on the same page. Tara, what they do? 5, I see you. Birch, I see you, man. Okay. Mary, good. All right, good. Lee, what's good? Lee, see you. Live, good. Well, there it is, my brothers and sisters. My name's Jabez. I got a goal to help over 1 million people get down to their natural body size and stay there for life. That's why life matters, so let's eat like it. I wrote this book to make it simple to understand how I lost 100 pounds, still eating the food that I like to eat, still eating rice, pasta, bread, meat, cookies. I had to learn how to choose the right version of what I like to eat. And that, we went over on this live, and then we dropped our family cookbook, 62 Naturalite recipes. Look, this was me in 2014. 62 Naturalite recipes that fit these principles. And again, I'm not a vegan, I'm a Naturalite. A Naturalite focuses on getting off the heavily processed food and chemicals. I believe that there isn't a category that's big that people know. Like it, everybody heard of veganism, and I respect that veganism. There's a lot of vegans that ain't been eating animal products for years, and they're doing just fine. A lot of them amazing, and so that make a lot of us wonder. Okay, is it the fact that we need to eat animal flesh? So bet that about veganism. But what I don't like is there are vegan options available that are processed and full of chemicals. And I lost 100 pounds mostly because I became aware that, look, this phone just died. I became aware of the ingredients, and I started to avoid heavily processed foods and chemicals. And so that's what a naturalite is. A naturalite is someone who believes the ingredients matters. And what it's all about is Naturalite wants to see an America where natural chemical free food is the standard. It's the commonplace. So a Naturalite just leads by example. Their lifestyle is the example. You know, we're not trying to be out here trying to convert people and none of that really like that. We're really just, as individuals, taking the responsibility. When I go shopping, I'm going to buy the natural options. I'm going to read the ingredients. I'm going to educate myself, learn what to look for, and I'm going to choose the most natural ingredient, the most natural options that budget with the attempt of being all natural. You know, I'm not trying to I'm letting other people eat the way they want to eat. It's about me controlling myself. You feel me? And so part of the natural lifestyle is understanding that a part of the equation is agriculture too, man, because we're getting tricked up in these grocery stores and restaurants because not enough of us understand agriculture. So we're so accustomed to going to the grocery stores for everything, we've been disconnected from the source. And the truth is, everything that they're selling in the grocery store, the create things made it in its original form and put it out here in nature, and it's absolutely free. And if we just were to sit back and let nature do its thing, it'll repeat and flip and keep growing year after year after year. These plants would just keep reproducing and growing year after year after year, and it'll be right out there. We can go out there and forage and get the food we needed. That's why I wrote, the more we grow, the more we'll see. Everything we need is free. Someone actually earlier on the live, they was asking about, I bet they've been off the live, but they was asking about the erosion problem and like how is the case when the soil ain't that good? Well, and that's a major issue, because what's been going on is, so farming is what's been going on is, like, you know, the pesticides to keep the bug issue at bay, the chemical pesticides and pricing of them being so competitive that the natural pesticides is kind of like, okay, we'll go with the chemical ones. And then that's affecting the soil. And also the fertilizers, the synthetic chemical fertilizers that's making these plants grow pretty much overnight is affecting the soil, and it's draining the nutrients and killing the bug life and microorganism life that's going on, that's supposed to be done in the soil. It's too many chemicals. So good news, we can all we got to do is take care of this, take care of the plant world and nature and this God-given gift that we've been blessed to give. We just got to take care of it. We got to be intentional and take care of it, and the change will happen. That's like compost. I talk about it all the time. I go into it in my book, how to put nutrients back in the soil. I talk about permaculture in my book, and where you can get more information on that, and how to grow in a way where you got the big plants that are going to drop in. All soil is life that fell down to the ground and died and became part of the soil. And you know what I mean? It's just like fruits and vegetable scraps and all of that is nutrients for the soil. Trina, I just seen her come through as love. So all it is being intentional and working with nature and using natural, even pesticides and keeping bugs away. There's natural ways to do all of this stuff. You know what I mean? It just takes enough of us to actually say, you know what, even if I start in an apartment, I'm gonna start growing food in a little pot, you know, and start learning how to work with the plants, seeing what they like, you know, what works, what doesn't work. And that's what I wrote this book. Simple, because it's really not that complicated, you know. It's not having a green thumb, it's just understanding sunlight, water, climate, and soil. Every plant has a relationship with those four things. And just understanding how to, you know, identify and make good soil, identify the right good water. That's why I use rainwater and lake water. Well water is also great, or if you got a real good, depending on your city, different city waters is different, but to be aware of that. And then, you know, every plant has a relationship with the sun. Some plants like more shade, some like more sun, so you just got to be aware of that. And also the climate. You know, for example, I love mangoes. I'm eating a mango right now. I got mangoes. I got a goal to give away over 1 million fruit trees in America. You call me Jabez Mango Seeds. I love mangoes, but a mango tree ain't gonna grow in Wisconsin. It ain't gonna work. That's a tropical tree, but we can grow apples there. So that's about being aware of the climate and the relationship to the place. That's what I'm saying. So
That's basically it. So I break it down. I make it simple with the book. So the point is, everything that I'm talking about right now is the Naturalite lifestyle. A Naturalite is somebody who is playing their role in making natural, chemical-free food the new standard in America. You feel me? So if that resonates and you feel like you're a Naturalite, put I am in the chat. If you can read the ingredients, if you feel like it's important, if you feel like the ingredients matter, put I am in the chat. See what family members I got on here. If you want to see an America where natural, chemical-free food is the standard, put I am in the chat. Let me see who locked in or what they do. Sweezy, Brenda, what's good? Tarsha, what's good? Patrice, I see you. Adrian, man, it's all love. Amber said, I want a mango tree. Oh, it's all good, Amber. Listen, for a chance to win a fruit tree or a beneficial plant, you can email us at gonaturalite.com. If anybody wants, and we got we also got a form that you could fill out on our website, gonaturalite.com, for a chance to win the free plants. And also, if anybody want to grab a copy of any of my books, feel free. We're doing a sale right now. I got the link for gonat.com on my homepage underneath my profile picture in the bio. So if you want to grab a copy of the book, feel free. And just know it's all love and respect and love. My brothers and sisters, prayers up, blessings.